Well, y'all, guess what day it is? Thursday, also upcycling day. I have been doing so many upcycles this summer because I found a ton of things at the thrift store and the garage sales that I could just make a little more cute, you know? So that's what we're gonna do today. We're making two things today. The first thing we're gonna upcycle is this floor length dress, and we're gonna turn this into a romper. Spoiler, I'm filming this after I finished both of these projects, and the romper is one of my favorite things I've ever made. That's a bold statement, but it is. The second thing we're making, I'm gonna take another floor length dress. This one had some pretty embroidery on it, and we're turning it into a two-piece set with a skirt and a top with some scrunched straps. Both of these projects are super easy. I'm gonna show you how to draft the patterns at home. So whether you're upcycling something similar or you just wanna make this from scratch out of fabric, then they're really simple and it's gonna be fun. Okay, we're starting with the romper. So I'm just taking these athletic shorts and I'm just tracing them to get a basic shorts pattern. And I'm gonna add about 1 inch to the hips as well as the crotch seam and the inseam, just to make them a little more loose fitting. I'm gonna draw out my seam allowance and cut it out. And now I'm doing the same thing for the back of the shorts. And I'm making sure to pull out that center seam just so that we can trace right along where the seam is. That's super important. And now I'm just making sure the inseam of the front of the shorts matches the inseam of the back of the shorts, as well as down the hips, because they're gonna connect there later. They need to match up perfectly. Okay, for the pocket, now I'm just tracing my hand all around, and then I'll add 1/2 inch seam allowance and cut it out. And now for the fun part, we're gonna get out our little seam ripper and just rip these seams away. So I'm separating the bodice from the skirt, and I'm also seam ripping down the side seams. Wow, ooh, I'm looking cute right now. I don't know if you can handle this. Oof. I have been seam ripping for what feels like 3 hours. And I just wanna say, seam ripping an already made garment, or even just like inspecting an already made garment, really teaches you a lot. This dress has like a button placket. And so that's been something I've been really wanting to learn how to do, especially with it all like torn apart. You can really see exactly how they did it. And you know, just knowledge. Also, very nice that I get this free zipper. I'm not gonna use it, so I'm just gonna save that for a rainy day. The other thing I was gonna mention, I took quite the tumble today on my morning run. Exhibit A, my nails scraped along the asphalt for a good 5 seconds. Exhibit B, okay, that's a scar from another bike accident. Today's just not been my day. Anyway, so I just want you all to know that I'm in a great deal of pain as I'm doing this. So if that's not a good enough reason to give this video a thumbs up, then I don't know what is. So if you want to just stop right now, pop down there, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know if you've ever tripped and fallen on a run, because it was super embarrassing. So anyway, I really had nothing important to say and I probably shouldn't have came on here like this, but that's that. So let's keep seam ripping. Okay, now I'm just cutting the bodice away from the skirt so that we have 2 pieces to work with. And now we have this cute little top. Now it's time to cut our shorts pieces. And I'm making sure to leave a few inches at the top, because if you look at this dress, the waist is a little bit higher than normal. So I wanna make sure to give myself extra room for that. And I'm also adding like 2 inches to the hips just to match the width of the bodice. That's very important. The width of the shorts need to match the width of the bodice. And now I'm taking that shorts piece, and you want to make sure to lay it down wrong side or right side facing together, because you don't want 2 of the same shorts pieces. Okay, now I'm cutting my back shorts pieces. Again, laying them down wrong sides together. Now I'm taking some scrap fabric and cutting 4 pockets. Okay, now I'm laying down the front right leg and the back right leg, and I'm gonna lay the pockets down right on top, right sides together. And I'm just gonna sew them right along where the pockets are. Today I'm using my Singer Quantum Stylus 9960. Now I'll press that seam open, and now we can connect the front right leg to the back right leg, and we're gonna sew them down the side seam, around the pocket, and down the rest of the side seam, and I'm also connecting them at the inseam. Now I'm just gonna clip the little curve right here at the pocket, just clipping at the seam allowance, and this is gonna help the pocket move and bend a little bit better, because when I run it through my serger, I wanna make sure to pull it as straight as I can when it goes around corners. So clipping those corners really help you position it straight. Okay, once both legs are done, I'm gonna put one leg right side out and put it inside the inside out leg. And this way we can connect them all the way around the crotch seam. I hate saying that. Is there a better word for crotch seam? Can I just say center seam? Is that the same? I hate saying crotch seam. And now I'm adding some darts to the back of the shorts, just some little 4-inch long darts. This is just gonna help them be a little bit more form-fitting to the waist. Okay, and the moment we've all been waiting for, now we can connect the bodice to the shorts. So I'm just putting the shorts inside the bodice. They are right sides together, and I'm just pinning it all along that waistline, and I'm gonna sew it all around. I also serged this off camera, just for a little professional fin. Wait, did I serge it? Okay, you know what? I don't think I serged, wait. I did serge that. I did serge it. And now the only thing left to do is hem the bottom of the shorts. So you can do a double fold hem, a rolled hem, a blind hem. You can serge it and then fold it up once. You can do whatever kind of hem you want, but just get those shorts hemmed. And now we have the most lovely vintage floral romper. I love this romper, and I kept the waist tie in the back so it's a little bit more fitted, and it's just so cute. Okay, project number 2, floor length dress, pretty loose fitting. It looks like this. It has some beautiful embroidery on it, and it also has a side slit, which we're gonna eventually close up later. Okay, first of all, I love the embroidery work on the top and then on the skirt. Sadly, I think I'm gonna cut this like a straight neck, kind of curved down a little bit, and then straight in the back. All right, I'm taking my tailor's chalk. This is such a weird way to do this, but it actually worked somehow. And I'm just kind of marking where like the armpit curve is and where my neckline is, and somehow it worked. Okay, now I'm just pulling the skirt up, and I'm making a mark at my waistline. That's where the skirt will start. And then I'm also gonna make a mark at my waist where the bodice will end. So basically that middle section is just gonna be scrap fabric for making straps and a waistband. All right, I'm just straightening my lines, making sure to take into account seam allowance here. So now we have a skirt, and then I'm just gonna cut away the top part of the dress, and I'm also cutting the side seams of the dress. You can seam rip this, but I just didn't have the patience, so I cut them. So now we have all of this fabric to work with. Okay, so I'm gonna start by drafting a little front bodice. So I'm starting at my neckline, and I'm just drawing a little slanted edge for the armpit curve. I made the width of this bodice about 10.5 inches, and that's my waist measurement divided by 4 plus seam allowance plus a little bit of room for ease, because I don't want this to be super tight fitting. And now I'm making a mark at my waistline plus seam allowance plus hem allowance, so 12 inches. And connect the lines down the side, and now we can cut out our front bodice piece. I'm also adding some darts, as you can see, to this bodice just to make it fit better. So I'm just putting it on. We're doing this again, really weird way, and I'm figuring out where I want my darts to be, and I'm just marking where the darts will be. So I'm just gonna straighten my lines with a ruler, and then I'm gonna flip it over to the other side and just kind of use my finger as a guide to trace those lines onto the other side of the bodice, because they need to match perfectly. Once we have our dart legs drawn, we can just pinch them on the wrong side of the bodice and pin them down. And when you sew darts, you just want to taper it off really naturally when you get to the end, and that's going to help it not pucker as much around the bust. Okay, now I'm taking the front side of what was the dress, and we're gonna use this to draft the back bodice. And the length of the back bodice is gonna be the same length as the front bodice. So mine was about 8 inches. And then the width is, again, your waist measurement divided by 4 plus seam allowance plus whatever ease you need. And I actually made mine wider than normal because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with the back yet. I was thinking about maybe putting like some buttons, so I left myself extra room, but I ended up cutting it smaller later. And again, you just want to make sure the length of the back bodice matches the length of the front bodice because they're going to connect there right now. We are connecting them now. So I'm just laying them right sides together and sewing them down the side seams. Now I'm hemming the top of the bodice. I'm just doing a double fold hem. You can definitely do like a little bias binding. That would look much more professional, but I just did a double fold hem and it worked pretty well. And I'm doing a double fold hem on the bottom as well. So all that is you just fold it up twice. It is the easiest hem you can possibly do. I'm just gonna add a few pins all around and then take it to the sewing machine, and I'm gonna sew the top edge and the bottom edge using just a top stitch. And whenever I do a top stitch, I like to transfer the pins to the right side of the fabric and sew it on the right side of the fabric. Sewing it on the right side actually looks a lot more clean than sewing it on the wrong side. All right, so now I'm trying the skirt on to figure out how much I need to cut off, which was about 9 inches. So this is gonna be a little bit of a process. I cut that really weirdly, tried it on, realized I needed to cut more. I also added some little darts to the back so I can get an accurate measurement. So I kept cutting it, trying it on, realized it needed more, kept cutting it. So again, I'm just adding some 1-inch darts to the back. This is just gonna help the skirt be a little bit more form-fitting at the waist. I'm gonna sew those darts down. And now I'm gonna draw out the waistband. So the width of the waistband is just the width of your skirt, and I'm doing a front waistband and a back waistband. And I made these 3 inches wide because I'm gonna fold them in half, hot dog style. So 3 inches was perfect for the waistband. Now I'm cutting some straps, and I also made these 3 inches wide. I made mine extra long because I'm gonna end up scrunching them with elastic later, just like that. So I gave myself extra room for that. So going back to the waistband, I'm just gonna put them right sides together and sew them down one of the edges. I'm gonna leave the other side open because we're gonna attach a zipper in just a minute, so I'm only sewing one side closed. Okay, now I'm just gonna prep the waistband by folding one side down by 1/2 inch towards the wrong side and the other side down by 1/2 inch. And then I'm gonna fold the whole thing in half, hot dog style. And this makes putting a waistband on so much easier. So now I'm just pinning the right side of the waistband to the right side of the skirt. Yes, the side seams do not match up. If you're also OCD, that is killing you right now because it killed me a little bit. And once I get to the end, I had a little bit of extra room, so I just cut that off. And now I'm just gonna sew all along that pinned edge. Okay, and then once that's sewn, I'm just gonna press the seam allowance up towards the waistband, and then I'm gonna fold the waistband down to the wrong side of the skirt. And now we just encased that raw edge with a waistband, which is so beautiful. Oh my gosh, my OCD. I definitely pressed that seam allowance the wrong direction. Also, the pins are not going the same direction. I'm so sorry. And now I'm just gonna sew that waistband down. But a little bonus here, I'm gonna use a technique called stitch in the ditch, where I'm literally gonna stitch right in that little ditch of where the waistband meets the skirt on the right side of the fabric. So I transferred my pins over to the right side, and I'm just sewing right into that ditch. And what that's gonna do, it's gonna give me a beautiful, mostly hidden seam on the right side of the skirt, and then on the wrong side, it looks like that. Definitely not as pretty. Okay, and now, deep breaths, we are gonna attach this invisible zipper. Y'all already know this is my least favorite part. So I'm just making a mark where the zipper will end, and I'm just gonna close up the skirt right up to that point. So I'm just gonna put some pins in and sew the bottom half of the skirt. Now we can attach the zipper. So I opened up the zipper and I'm attaching the right side of the zipper to the right side of the skirt. And I'm gonna attach my lovely zipper foot. This came with my sewing machine. And this makes putting an invisible zipper on so much easier because you can get really close to the edge of the zipper teeth so that it truly is invisible on the right side of your garment. So once I get really close to the end of the zipper, I always like to close the zipper up, and then I finish sewing that bottom edge of the zipper, and that is the easiest way that I've found. And then I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side of the zipper, and now we have a zipper. I would give this a 6 out of 10. Okay, for the straps, these are super easy. I'm just folding them down hot dog style and I'm pressing them in half, and then I'm just gonna sew them right here down the long edges. Once that's done, I'm gonna take a safety pin and flip them right side out. So I'm just feeding the safety pin through itself, and once you get to the end, you just pull it out and bam, we have a strap. And now I'm taking some elastic and I'm also feeding this through with a safety pin. And once the elastic is through, I'm just gonna sew both ends with a zigzag stitch. This is just gonna connect that elastic so that it won't go anywhere. And now we have some cute little straps. So I'm using my adjustable dress form. All of these products are linked below, by the way. This is my favorite way to attach straps and figure out the exact placement of them. Now I'm just sewing those straps down with a straight stitch. And now we have a finished two-piece set. I love how this turned out. It's so cute, so summery, it was really easy to make. I just wanna go salsa dancing in this. I hope you learned something. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't give it a thumbs down. Someone is giving my videos thumbs downs. Who is it? Also, if you are looking for a sewing machine or any kind of sewing accessories, irons, dress forms, little craft station tables, go to the Singer website and check out some of their amazing products. And if you find something you want, you can use my code JSHAW15 at checkout for US orders only, and get yourself 15% off. So that's fun. Okay, well, hope you're having a wonderful day. Go outside, go drink some water, and call your grandma. Tell her you love her. I don't know why I said that. See you next time. Bye!